Creamer Media's Mining Weekly Online is talking to Chris Griffith, the CEO of Anglo American Platinum. Chris, we've recently had in the country a 9% increase in the electricity tariff. What sort of impact do you expect that to have on Anglo American Platinum's assets?
So 5 years ago, it used to be pay R1 billion for electricity. That is now R3 billion. So if we have these 10%, between 10 and 15% increases for the next 5 years, that electricity bill will go from R3 billion to R5 billion. Last year we had a restructuring program across the group. We were going to take out between 400 and 450 overhead staff, mainly managerial roles, and that was going to save over R200 million. The electricity increase of 9% will be about R600 million. It'll be R300 million above inflation. That means that all of that work that we went into to saving through the headcount reduction across our business is going to get wiped out in one increase of electricity. The mining industry cannot afford to have these increases. Now remember, we've had increases of 25% for a number of years. That has gone down to 12% and now gone down to 10%. The effect of that on the mining industry will mean that shafts that are previously profitable will no longer be profitable. We need to get Eskom back to inflation-related increases, and they need to be doing what the rest of us are doing in industry. What we need to manage our business at below inflation increases so that we can stay viable. What we can't have is be putting all this effort into being able to reduce our costs when we have these unsustainable increases coming from Eskom.
And has Anglo American Platinum itself taken steps to reduce its electricity bill? Have you cut the use of electricity?
So over the last 5 years, we've actually reduced by over 30% the amount of electricity that we're using. So we were using about 90 megawatts at any given time. We now are down to about 60 megawatts. That's the draw that we have, mostly from our concentrators and from our smelters. We've been able to manage, I think, more effectively both not only our overall amount of electricity, but I think we've been able to manage our smelter draws to be able to help the South African power situation. So for example, over the two peak periods in the morning and in the evening, what we do is we cut back our overall amount of power because we've got enough installed capacity for the remaining 20 hours of the day to be able to catch up. So I think we've been able to help both ourselves and the country by reducing the amount of electricity and also the times that we use electricity to help out the country. So I think we're playing our part, and I think there's many companies like Anglo American Platinum that are playing their part, reducing the amount of electricity, but at the same time, we cannot sustain these kind of price increases as many of the mining companies are battling just to stay viable.
And what is the state of play in the platinum industry at the moment? A lot of people think, well, the weak rand is being banked and it's being saved. How much better are you doing through a weak rand?
So I think it's a really good question because there is this anticipation that all of a sudden mining companies are pouring out cash now. I mean, you certainly have seen that in the case of the gold. The rand gold price is at the highest rand gold price ever. But let's put a couple of figures into context around platinum, just to make sure that we understand this. First of all, you have to look at the dollar prices. If you have a look at the dollar price of platinum, a couple of things, just for a couple of numbers, just for context. If we go back to 2014, the dollar platinum price was just under $1,400 per platinum ounce. That went down last year to $1,055. We are now below $1,000. It just briefly went through $1,000, but we're now below $1,000. That's already $50 less than where we were on average last year. So that gives you, that's platinum. If we have a look at palladium, 2 years ago, so 2014, the palladium price on average was around $800. That went down to $700 last year. We are currently $555. So the basket, if we have a look at all of the basket of metals, let's go through that same analysis again. In 2014, the dollar basket price for the PGM metals, that includes our bimetals of nickel and copper, etc., the dollar basket price was $2,400 in 2014. That went down to $1,900 last year. Just I'm rounding up the numbers, $1,900 last year. We're currently at $1,650. So the rand is certainly helping, and I'm going to give you the rand numbers now, but the rand is certainly helping. But I think it mustn't be forgotten is how much weaker the current dollar price is for all the metals, but also for the base metals that make up our basket. So the basket is very substantially below where the average of last year is. Now, yes, we have seen the weakening of the rand, but the rand has meant that we actually now are just a little bit higher than where we were on average for last year. If you look at the average for so far this year, we're actually about the same that we averaged last year. So even for the massive weakening in the rand, all it's doing is it's taking us to the level of rand basket price that we saw in 2015. And we know what a difficult environment 2015 was, where most mining companies were in a position they had to go back to their shareholders for rights issues to be able to help them manage in that position. Anglo Platinum didn't need to do that. All of our operations were cash positive last year, but they were cash positive in the first half that really carried them through the second half. The second half, not all of our operations were cash flow positive, but all round for the year, we just scraped in. And remember, at the same time, though, we had to write off. There were those big impairments given the current weak price environment. So, yes, we made some money. We reduced some of our debt last year. I think in the environment, we did pretty well. But I think just the rand basket price, we're not in the position in platinum that the gold miners are finding themselves in.
Yeah. It was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly Online speaking to Chris Griffith, the CEO of Anglo American Platinum.